Yo, what's good, y'all? Welcome this week's episode of Talks with TVBOO. Welcome this week's episode of the podcast. Hope you're all having a great week, and I appreciate y'all being here, man. I really do, because we have a very interesting guest today. Fucking really awesome conversation. Before I introduce this guest, I just got to say, this Friday, tomorrow, I'm going to be in Philadelphia and Philly at the Ave. It's a free show. All you have to do is just RSVP, and you get in for free, man. I got Smith coming with me. It's going to be a fucking good-ass night. Very excited about it, man, and looking forward to seeing everybody. But my guests this week are a fucking slew of different things, man. You know, they are event promoters, talent buyers, and they have this new app that they had just launched. And it's really fucking interesting. I know it sounds, we're having people on that run an app, but it's something that's really cool for the community. It's basically like the Netflix for live sets and podcasts, potentially. And I think it's really fucking awesome. You know, we get a lot of insights on throwing events. You know, these people throw a lot of events out here in Denver. You know, I met them from starting a blog company and throwing events down in New Orleans. And they've come a long way since then and been doing a lot of really awesome shit for the scene. And I'm going to let this episode get into it. Super fun conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is River Beats. Come here, girl, is that ass fat? Let me take my tongue and go bang the dirt track. I met a girl and her booty tastes like strawberries. I swear to God, this could be the one that I'm marrying. Hey, hey, and she's so damn fine. I may eat that from behind. I met a girl and her booty tastes like strawberries. What's up, fellas?
What's up?
What's going on?
How we doing?
We're living.
Hey, dude, come from a long way, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
I mean, I've known about River Beats since I lived in New Orleans. That's where I heard about it. But for those who don't know what this is or who y'all are, tell the people who y'all are and what your company is.
Yeah. My name is Sean Schmidt. I'm one of the co-founders of River Beats, along with this gentleman sitting right next to me. I think it's evolved over time. Like when you first knew what we were much different than what we are now. I like to tell people we're basically a digital group at this point. We have a marketing agency. We have publications that write about, obviously, dance music. We have one in New Orleans. We have one in Colorado. And then, of course, we produce events. And our newest endeavor is now we are a streaming house, production house that just launched our own app.
Damn.
Look at that.
Dude, how many employees do y'all have?
That's
a loaded question.
Dude,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm talking to CEOs here.
Yeah,
dude.
totally. So on a day-to-day, a lot of our employees are 1099ers, right? So anytime people, they're coming and going, they're working hourly rates, but given in any month, I would say anywhere from like 12 to 20 people on a payroll that are making money with really only one employee that's like full-time.
Mm-hmm. Got you.
Yeah.
I'd say most of the people we hire are like freelancers, right? They're all graphic designers and writers and web developers, and so we I guess bring on a lot of the same people a lot of the time. They've been with us for years, but they're also doing a lot of other projects at the same time. So they're definitely the freelance world for media companies is pretty common.
Yeah. I don't think we would survive if we didn't go that route, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I heard about y'all. I think I saw this before I even had moved out to New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was like y'all were writing online articles and shit like that. And were y'all doing shows at that time, throwing some events?
It's kind of how we started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we Matt and I met on Holy Ship, and when we got off of the ship, I was like, "Hey, we should throw parties on ships." So we had this idea to throw this party called Womp on Water, and it was a riverboat on New Orleans. We basically presented it to this company that ran the riverboat, and they basically stole our idea and did it themselves. But
motherfuckers.
After that, we decided that, hey, we can do this. And we started with shows, lost our ass on a bunch of shows. I had no idea what we were doing. And then at the time, I don't know how long a lot of people are listening have been in the EDM world, but blogs were like where the information was coming from. So it was very apparent that we needed to start that.
I feel like tell me if I'm wrong here, but like the blogs now, they're not as important.
Yeah.
They're not nearly as popular.
Yeah.
People don't get their information that much from blogs anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely changed. I think Spotify is the cause of that. Let's see, Spotify, I'd say that its dominance is what, a few years old maybe now, 3-4, it's been like really heavily, but pre that, I feel like if you weren't on EDM.com or your EDM, you know, and you weren't following information on there, you probably weren't in the loop, you know. Also, Twitter prevalence has probably stopped the blogs from being like the sources of information, but I feel like at one point, Run the Trap, Your EDM, EDN.com, you know, like it was like where you went to find your information, and like it's not anymore. But
yeah, I used to find my new music from This Song Is Sick back in like 2009 to like 2012.
Dude, that's where I was finding my shit too.
Friday,
Yeah.
I'd go looking for This Song Is Sick to find new music, you know.
They're in YouTube, like the UFK's fucking
wow.
YouTube
Yeah.
channel.
dude,
That's right. the YouTube
That's
channel.
where I like originally started finding dubstep, because I remember hearing it once. I went to, you know, it was Buku. You know, this is the first time I went to Buku.
R.I.P.
Yeah, all right. God,
Oh man.
what a beautiful festival.
Totally. One of my favorites. But
Dude, I mean, I wouldn't be
Same.
doing what I'm doing today if it wasn't for Buku.
yeah, I feel like Buku also had this unique quality in which it was always at the beginning of the festival circuit. So it always had acts on there that you were like, wow. And then like they would be on the rest of the festival circuit. Like I saw Dog Blood there, the last one they did. And it was like right when they put out a new album. And it was like amazing to see that. And then Skrillex did From First to Last at the like an after party.
Republic.
Yeah, like that wasn't happening anywhere else, you know? Like
Yeah, I love how diverse the lineup is. It's like you don't see a lot of lineups like that other than like, you know, like Coachella or Bonnaroo or Lollapalooza. You know,
Yeah.
it's not just one genre. I remember one year I watched A Day to Remember and Bass Nectar like in the same night.
right.
And I was like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was such a good venue too. It was like
Yeah.
a junkyard and a riverfront.
Yeah.
Right.
It was amazing.
But, you know, going back to the blog talk, I think that, you know, when they started to lose relevancy, people went like two ways with them. Like your brand realizes like this is happening and you need to evolve, or you kind of just go by the wayside. And a lot of those blogs like are in, you know, in that world doing their own thing. Like Run the Trap is Alt Vision. They manage like Autograph and a few others. And I know This Song Is Sick for a while there had a management group, and
Both of them had labels online. Like you'd find their
Yeah.
SoundCloud like pushing tracks.
right. I think that was apparent to us too. I think COVID kind of was like the last kind of nail in the coffin for like the blogosphere world, and we still have them. We still put, you know, information out on them, but we understand where they're at and what they do. You know,
It's more of a point of leverage where we can get more value to some of our marketing and advertising clients and people that just want to get their word out to our, you know, a base of followers and fans that have been listening to us for a long time. So it still has value to us as a company to keep those blogs going, but it's not a source of revenue.
Yeah. I remember in 2021, y'all put out top artists look for breakthrough artists for this year. And I was on it. And like, I didn't even share it or anything. My family somehow
that's awesome.
got it. And they're like all stoked, like, oh, I see you on this article.
Yeah. Yeah, those we still put out that stuff. I really, those are some of my favorite stuff to put out, and we do get, you know, when we do stuff like that, we still get the recognition like we used to when we first started. I think it's people that are like respect our opinion on what we've been talking about for 8 years now. And like those end of the year articles that we do, like I really, myself and whoever's working with us and Ben, we always make it a collaborative effort so that it's not just one voice, but rather like a bunch of people lending, you know, to the project. So, yeah.
You know, the blogs wouldn't exist without those like incredibly passionate writers. They're all every article we put out is because a writer chose a project, went to an event, you know, or researched a project or their favorite artist or a new album coming out. So all those articles that come out from any of our publications are because that writer went and did a lot of work to put that out because it's something they're extremely passionate about. They're
Yeah.
not, you know, they're not making a fortune writing articles,
Yeah.
but they do it because they absolutely love the culture and the music and they want to participate and contribute somehow. So it's like we get to provide a platform to do that. So I don't think it'll ever go away. You know?
I mean, I've had some great articles and terrible ones written about me too. Like I, you know, like DJ Mag, like they did an article on me last year and I was on the cover of DJ Mag and like
Wow.
amazing article. You can tell they fucking did their research and they sat down and did an interview with me. So shout out DJ Mag. It was awesome. I had an article. They were like, Mitch Draper from Minnesota. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's like Minneapolis. I'm like, wrong M.
Right.
Okay.
Where are you from originally?
Mississippi.
Okay, cool. I
Yeah.
knew it was this Gulf South. Gulf South, right? Like
Jackson.
Okay,
Right outside
cool.
of Jackson.
That's how I met you in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I didn't meet you in Colorado or just later in your career. We all met because mutual friends in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And we're all going to the same venues and part of the same little crowd of people down there. It's a tiny little big city.
Dude, it's insane how many New Orleans folk have moved out here.
Yeah, it's wild.
It is nuts, dude. We were over at we were having a barbecue over at Austin Breckenridge house, and it was like, that's my VJ. I know that name means nothing, but like everybody there was all from New Orleans. I was like, this is sick. It doesn't even feel like we left.
Right. My girlfriend just moved up here from New Orleans too. So yeah, it's been, I think that scene was really relevant and good. It still is. I'm not going to hate on it, but like obviously those people kind of grew it and were like, let me go check something else out. So
did we ruin the scene by moving out?
I don't think we ruined it. I just think that
scenes in cities like that always evolve.
Yeah.
And there's people that always, it's an ebb and flow, right?
Exactly. Come and go type shit.
Yeah,
it's a great starting point. Yeah. Launching point. Yeah. Like I don't know that you can grow a career there in this industry or maybe various music industries there that are involved in like jazz fest and stuff like that. But in the dance world and the jam world and the two that kind of blend together, there's, eventually it has to be a new stepping stone for
I don't know. Look at Boogie T.
Yep. Yeah, true. But,
he actually
exception to the rule.
Yeah, he just bought a fucking property. I was hanging out with him last weekend. He just, 2 weekends ago, he just bought a property out in, like New Iberia, he's moving out of New Orleans.
Yeah.
He's going even more into the swamps.
I think the artists can still evolve from there and then move and love to still live there. And like his brand is so much like the swamp that like it totally makes sense, right? Like, but I think if you're going to work in the industry a little bit, like, working remote, I live there still, right? So I'm not, obviously I still love it, but I'm coming back here 6 times this summer, for work in this field. So I think it's, a natural little stepping stone.
So you still live out?
Yeah, I'm in New Orleans. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Got you. And Benny, you're out here.
Yeah. I was actually out here. I moved here in 2005 and I lived up in the mountains for a decade. And then I kept my place here and started kind of venturing around. I ended up in California and that took me on to Holy Ship. Mm-hmm. And after I met all these guys on Holy Ship, like I got back from Holy Ship, I was like, I met the most amazing people I've ever met. It was like 4 or 5 people from New Orleans. And I went back and I was sitting in California, like having the vacation blues and crying to commercials and shit. And like just wondering how am I going to get back to all these people. And I called them up and they were like, well, Buku Fest is happening in like 3 weeks. You should come on that. And so I ended up flying out for Buku and absolutely fell in love with New Orleans. I mean, my phone went dead on day 2. All my friends lost me, and I was off with some new people I met, and they found me the next day, passing them by on a float in one of the parades, and that's how they ended up finding me. So I mean, it was the most incredible weekend I may have ever had in my entire life. And after that, I came back almost every 2-3 weeks for an entire year to the point where everyone in New Orleans thought I lived in New Orleans, but I didn't. I lived in California at the time.
Yeah.
And so eventually I took the dive and moved down there and spent a few years building the company with Sean. And I love New Orleans.
Dude.
I love Colorado, though. I've been here for 20 years almost. So it's just...
Colorado's tight, but lately I've been missing the South more and more. Just like, I don't know, like the food and the people, just like,
just a laid back attitude too.
Dude, talking with your neighbors, like, inviting them over to watch football.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you go to a gas station and she's like, oh, baby, here you go. It's all that Southern hospitality, everything.
Baby, that's the word right there.
I was in Louisiana not too long ago. And she goes, what can I get for you, baby? And I was like, oh, fuck, I missed y'all, man. God, I missed y'all.
Right.
She's like, what you mean, y'all? And I'm like, no, like that.
Right.
It is very endearing, though. Just the culture down there,
Yeah, it's great.
It really is. And the food. Ugh.
Yeah.
The food's incredible.
I lost 8 pounds the first month I lived here.
Did you?
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
I did, dude.
Somebody said the other day, they're like, the food's like, would you say it? Like, or someone else was like, the food's really clean here, good, really organic and stuff like that. But like, you're not going to leave with like grits, like with butter and like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's just a different feel to this, the cooking down there versus here, right?
I just miss eating something like a sandwich, and somehow this ham and cheese sandwich is spicy.
Right?
Yeah. Why does this cheese taste like crawfish?
Right, exactly. That's so
Cajun
funny.
to it,
Yeah, dude, that's the type of shit I miss.
Yep.
What's the name of that? Tony Satcher.
Yeah.
Oh
He's
yeah,
putting
dude, we
that
got
on
some
everything.
upstairs.
Of
man.
course you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. If
on
Tony
everything.
Satcheries, if you're watching this, you need to sponsor this podcast.
Oh,
please.
dude, thank you. That'd actually be fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know if Tony Satcher is actually a really big fan of this show.
Is he really?
Watches every week. Tunes in every single episode.
I like that. Okay, I believe you.
Them and
Anyway.
Beyonce.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But anyway. Oh shit, Kyle? What?
The shirt he's wearing. You were talking about it earlier, and you said hold it for the podcast.
Shit. Yeah, okay.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's a Southern thing, and you guys are on the subject, so
Yeah.
I feel it's
the Rougarou.
Like,
Yeah, it's Cajun.
yeah.
It's like a Cajun swamp monster, basically. So
See,
it has,
I have never even heard of this.
yeah,
the
it has,
Rougarou.
yeah, it has the either the what does the head look like on there? A werewolf, right? So it has the body of a human, the head of a werewolf.
Yeah, and like hair on the back, but like human features in the front.
And like it lives in the Louisiana swamps and like
Grasslands.
is like the version of the Sasquatch, but from the swamps of Louisiana.
And then up here in Colorado, they have man bear pig.
Right. Well, that's hilarious.
Super cereal.
But yeah, this is just a shirt honoring the Rougarou. So you can go to like the zoos in Louisiana. They have like fake exhibits of Rougarous in there.
Do they
It's like-
really?
yeah, it's so silly.
Are there
first
people
I've
who
heard of this.
yeah, me too. Is there people who like swear up and down they've seen a Rougarou?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's like Sasquatch. I've seen Bigfoot.
Yeah, like I'm sure it's like 80-year-old Cajun men who barely speak English as it is, just being like, you
Yeah,
know,
I done see that Rougarou.
right, exactly.
That Rougarou came out there and had me of a tree video.
That's exactly correct.
That Rougarou came over there. I threw the ball. He got caught that for a touchdown. Boom, there you go.
I forgot
These
how
Kyoto.
difficult it can be to understand.
Oh, that accent he just did right there,
cut
down from the
Cajun.
bayou. We could both do it right
Yeah.
there.
Down for the bayou.
His was pretty good though.
Comment to the top.
Dude,
Yeah.
when I first moved out there, it was bad, but I had these neighbors, dude, when I first moved out to New Orleans. And I was big deer hunting and squirrel hunting, and they did duck hunting. And this was literally within my first week of living out there. And I saw they were out there cleaning some ducks, so I wanted to go out and see if they wanted to do a trade meat for meat. And I didn't understand a fucking word they said, dude, at first. And then I was just like, squirrel for duck. Oh, yeah, we're going to do that. We do that.
That's exactly correct.
But then towards the end, dude, like, we'd be hanging out and understand every word.
Yeah, different people for sure, but their accents are one of a kind, no doubt.
Dude, Baldy, God.
Oh, dude, Baldy.
He's a
character.
He is a character, man.
Yeah, man.
I love that man dearly.
Yeah.
All right, so going back to River Beats, though,
Yeah,
that was a fun
sorry.
story with the Rougarou. No,
I like
dude,
it.
I love. That's a fun tangent.
Yeah.
So you're saying around COVID, you're like, all right, we need to pivot
Yeah.
from doing these blogs. I mean, because how are you guys even making money in the first place doing blogs and stuff like
Yeah.
sponsorships and stuff?
So I want me to take this?
Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, we were doing small time. So when you have a blog, right, you can build an ad server on that thing. You can run your own ads on there, right? So, if, typically it's run by relevancy, though. If you have 1 million page views, you can make more money. There's more eyes on it, right? You have to find clients that believe in that. That was a good way to do it. We were making some revenue that way, but, it wasn't really blowing the bank off here, right? And then around COVID, we had stopped really throwing shows altogether. And then when COVID hit, music went away. And we were like, Ben actually was like, we got to start live streaming. So we started a Twitch channel. We went from like 0 to like 15,000 followers in like 2 months and like started having all of these streams on there. We had like,
I did one of them.
yeah, you did do one of them, right?
Yeah, I did it for Mardi Gras, dude.
So we,
Me.
and I think it was after that time, the world started to kind of go back, and I was like, hey, I miss throwing shows. We need to get back to throwing shows. And then we also really always wanted to go in the live stream route. Like I was inspired, Ben was inspired by like the Mix Mags and the Boiler Rooms of the world. And it was kind of like pre-COVID, those things were hard to accomplish. So when we got away from, really blogging and really being in that world, it was back to shows. And then, since then, it's kind of like, how can we build something that is like for the streaming world?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the barrier of entry for streaming was
Hard.
really high.
Yeah.
Before COVID came around, and then when
Wait, how so?
it was just to be able to break into that industry was not only a very large investment to be able to get the equipment to even pull it off, but being able to get into the room with the right people to get the artists that are big enough. All the things that make a difference in whether or not you're successful. It was a long climb to get there, just like anything else in this industry. But when COVID came around, we started to realize that, first of all, we thought we were going to have to lay everybody off and just end the business because 100% of our business was based around music.
Yeah.
And everything
writing blogs,
it
dude.
just went away immediately. So I was like, we're going to have to lay everybody off. We're not going to be able to do anything anymore until it all comes back. And then I started to see all these music venues that were in a lot of trouble, like a lot of independent music venues. Cervantes was actually the first one I'd thought about. I've been going there since like 2007, and I consider them all friends, the owners there. They've been one of the longest standing independent music venues in Denver.
Yeah, we had the owner on the show. He was fucking awesome.
Yes, they're great. They're all great. Scott, Evan.
Yeah,
That's-
I had both of them on the show. They're super
all
awesome
of them.
dudes.
They're all great. They're, Duncan. They're really great guys that have been running their own company for a really long time in this industry. And then you saw that, like, when COVID happened, how are they even going to keep the doors open? You know how expensive it is to pay for a venue like that monthly?
Yeah.
That's insane. And that was happening all across the nation. And so that was the first thought. We were like, how do we help? We have this big blog and our website, and we have a platform that we can leverage to help these people in some way. And that's where we were like, let's throw some live streams as fundraisers for these music venues and try to help them raise some money. And so the way we figured out who to even try to get to be involved was I just looked back over the previous year or two of bookings from that venue, and we hit all of their management teams up and all the artists up and said, hey, we're going to do a fundraiser for Cervantes. 100% of the proceeds are going to them. And it worked. We did our first ever. I was in my basement doing a 3-day music festival with 45 artists.
Wait, what?
Live.
Yeah, live.
First, and
It's called Base Camp.
I didn't even know what Twitch was 2 weeks before that.
Wait. It was called Base Camp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just did a festival in Idaho called Base Camp. Are you guys suing them?
We should,
Nah.
right? Nah.
Nah, so we called it Base Camp, and we got a couple of visual artists to come do live sets, like live while they were playing the live music. First of all, I didn't know you could record that shit and then put it out later, because if I did, I never would have done it live, because that's the most intense thing I've ever done. It was 3 straight days, 12 to 14-hour days, doing live sets one after another through RTMP servers, where it's like swapping next live to the next live, and all these variables like their internet, your internet, bit rates, all these things.
Oh, how many sets
So-
completely bombed, like just because of the
None.
connection?
We kept the whole thing live for 3 straight days. Thank you to JD Vanderwall. By the way, JD was the guy in the basement with me the whole time. Like, we built out all the assets for it. I had to learn how to do it. We ended up calling like 2 or 3 guys throughout the time who were like techie guys who like helped us walk through problems we were having. It was intense, but it was also like really fun, right? And
Yeah.
we had done like one stream after that where before we even knew what Twitch was, and it was all on Facebook. That's right. We did one with Ravenscoon
On Facebook.
and there was like 80,000 live viewers on Facebook.
Holy
and
fuck.
we were like, what the fuck just happened? What? We had no idea it would even get any kind of like exposure like that. And that's when we decided to do the fundraising thing. So our first one was that Ravenscoon on Facebook. Greg helped me do it, and he was my roommate at the time. So we're just sitting in my basement watching this thing just climb and climb and climb, and all the numbers just kept getting bigger and bigger. And I was like, wow, we're on to something here.
Yeah, I think after that it was we got back to shows. You had people here from Cervantes, so our weekly event, Cervantes Shift Thursdays, we got back to throwing.
That's y'all throwing those?
It's us and Cervantes, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck. I mean, I have seen you at those. Now it makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was
Yeah.
you throwing those events
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, we approached him after COVID and asked him if I hit up Scott and Evan. I was like, hey, what do you guys think about doing like maybe like a monthly or something? Like we can just start getting back into throwing shows. And Scott was like, well, how about a weekly? And I was like,
You think
Fuck
like a
yeah.
venue.
And they go back and forth. They go from the other side to the ballroom, other
Yeah.
side every week,
yeah.
right?
Well, no, sometimes they're both. Sometimes they're one. Sometimes they're the other.
Yeah, this past Thursday was both. They did a dual
w-
venue for
There's
Pretty
a
Lights.
formula to it for them as a venue, and it includes all of their other shows they do too. But I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to particular
Yeah, and
cadence.
I went to a show there one time, and I was listening to bass music, and I just heard something on the other side, and I just walked over there, and it was a fucking like jam band, dude. I stayed
Yeah.
there all night. I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like, just people shredding.
Isn't it amazing also that they named it The Other Side?
Yeah.
Like, whose idea was that? Whoever that is,
clever.
Probably Scott's.
dude. Like, you right now could have literally meant the other side, or you meant the venue, the other side. You know,
Yeah.
every time I think about that, I'm like, whoever idea this
You're probably
was.
spot on. I mean, I'm just guessing here that it was Scott, because when we were trying to come up with a name for Shift, we had a spreadsheet going for like 6 weeks, and every one of us was putting a little bit of like, you know, what we thought would be a good name in there. Scott didn't put anything in the whole time. The last like day we were meeting about it, he's like, what about Shift?
Man,
Like just nailed it on his first try and hadn't even like participated in the
That's hilarious.
My
I didn't even know
manager-
that story.
my manager did the same thing with me for my last album, dude.
Really?
Oh my God. I had so many fucking names, and he just spits one out. And I'm like, God damn it.
That's it.
What was the name?
Blue
I don't-
Collar Bass.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
yeah.
duh. Okay,
And I was
got
like,
it.
that's so good.
That is good.
That's so good.
You could like
It
play
is.
homage to the old Blue Collar tour, right?
yeah,
Like, I mean,
Blue Collar Comedy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Foxworthy.
Tour.
yeah,
Yeah, I was like, dude. And he started talking. I said, shut up.
yeah.
That's it.
That's amazing.
When you know, you know.
You're right.
So
Yeah, I was
the
like,
branding
it's-
idea, like it hits you. That, and I've done so many projects where we were trying to come up with a name for something that you kind of get used to the process, because you'll be sitting there going back and forth on names. You're like, it just doesn't. It's gotta like hit you that that's the one, and it does.
Yeah.
when you find
I'm
it.
working on an album right now. I'm like, we sat there on the phone for like 2 hours just spitballing ideas. Nothing. We still have nothing for it.
That's amazing.
Still have nothing for it, but
You'll come up with
the
it.
album's almost done.
Right.
And like we still don't have a name for
Somebody's
it.
gonna holler something from the kitchen at you. You're gonna be like,
Yeah.
"That's the name. That's it."
Sometimes I'll go on Google and just put other words for, and then put like a little meaning or a name, and just rip through word after word, and then eventually you go far enough down the rabbit hole, you get a couple of good
Yeah.
ones.
Oh, dude, I was using Chat GPT.
I was about to say.
desperate.
I was about to say, you better be on chat right now.
And they were all terrible.
Yeah, I'm sure they were.
not good.
the most like computer generated like gargle names, like. But yeah, Shift is our event, and then we started the new event in New Orleans and brought it out here called the Deep, which is the pool parties that have been happening this summer, and those have been a success. And we got 3 of them left, but
They're all rooftop parties.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I've seen the pictures. I haven't
Yeah.
been out to them yet.
well,
Yeah.
why not?
That's like my favorite thing to say. Whenever people were like, I haven't done it, why not?
Right.
God damn it, that's so good. I have no excuse.
Yeah,
I have
Vector just did one like 2 weeks ago.
I
That
know,
would've been
dude.
the
It looked
perfect one.
gnarly.
It was
dude,
great.
daytime
Amazing.
show. You don't get to do as like a bass music
Yeah.
DJ. You don't get to do daytime
He
shows.
took
that
his
often.
shirt off. He had like his shirt off and was like, he was having a blast.
Oh,
No, it was fun, man. It was sold out, and it was one of the most bass shows that we've done up there, because the rest of them have been more like, you know, housey, techno, like pool party vibe kind of things. And
We've done no techno, by the way. I'm just saying.
well,
Go ahead.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, I'm just kidding.
That pool party vibe.
we
that
did like
summer vibe.
we did like Goldfish, you know, like
Yeah.
some bigger names.
So
But
it was an entirely different crowd,
yeah,
like which I loved, and it was way more hyphy.
it was.
Way more like they were doing whirlpools in the pool.
They're wearing their pashmina like in
Oh,
the
yeah.
pool.
For sure.
Yeah. But it was amazing. It was such a good vibe. The venue had a great time. Everybody spent a lot of money, and the venue had a good day. We had a good day. Sold out the show.
Yeah.
it was just,
Yeah, it looked
was
packed,
great.
dude.
Yeah, it's good.
The stream was fun. Like everybody can go see it on our app. Like it was just good. It was all around one of the better ones we've done up there.
Dude, fucking daytime pool parties are the best. Like I did Paradise Blue earlier this year,
Mm-hmm.
and I played like at fucking like 2:30 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
or something like that on the pool stage. I remember when I got the booking, I was like, 2:30 p.m. whatever.
That's right in the
I
middle
like
of the pool party.
I know. I was like such a fucking little bitch about it going into it,
And you
th-
got there,
and
it
then I
was-
got there and I caught the vibe before I even went on. I was like, oh, this is gonna be sick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They were probably rowdy by 2:30.
Oh yeah, I mean it's an open bar,
Yeah.
all inclusive resort. So like I played it. I'm like I want to play again, but I do not want to play any other stage.
Right.
I want to play daytime at the pool party.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of been what these have been like. So if you're listening and we have any left, you should buy a ticket and come. for
Hell
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely it's one of the most fun events. We've been doing events for 7.5 years now, and it's by far one of the best
Yeah.
concepts that we've come up with.
Yeah, the concept of that party. When I told Ben about it the first time, I was like, I'm so tired of going to traditional club shows. And actually, we just got featured by the Wall Street Journal for this series
Sick.
because they featured us in New Orleans because we've been doing it in New Orleans as well. In New Orleans, the theme is like on different spaces, not traditional shows, ending by 10 p.m. And so like they're over with before typical nightclubs began. And the kind of the same idea out here was like, we can't compete with the places out here. You know, like there's too many shows happening at the same time. It was like, how can we find something that's a little bit unique and people are going to be like, this is dope, you know? And that's kind of what happened with those parties. And they've kind of taken off.
Because you can still come to one.
Yeah.
And go have dinner or take a nap and still go.
And we don't oversell it.
Doing that night.
We don't oversell it. Like it's really like a thing for us not to oversell these parties, you know? And it's just been a blast. I think going away and coming back also, like people are like, I need it. You know, like after this summer, we have plans to go bigger, a little bit more shows. The venue's building a second venue, so we might do 2 different locations. So there's a lot to plan out. But it's been a fun summer for sure.
That's sick. I've noticed that like a lot of times, like parties and shows I've gone to that aren't in your traditional spaces have always been a lot of fun. Like the Offbeat guys do a great job at throwing parties. Like I love going to those events.
Yeah.
I need to come check out this pool party, obviously.
Yeah.
But
and we used to, when we were in Denver, or not in Denver, but in New Orleans, there's an old Baptist church that got ruined in the floods. And some guy from the country of Georgia moved there and turned the entire church into a music studio. I'm talking soundproofing at the top of the steeple walls and soundproof glass in there. So we convinced him to let us throw a rave, like a...
Yeah, it was like
an
legit rave, dude.
A rave, like EDM party there. And then we partnered with some local art galleries and had them bring in cool, like, nighttime art that would, like, be under, like, black lights and shit like that. So, and we had, like, 200 of our friends show up.
It's a church.
But we got a catering license. We owned the bar. It was an incredibly successful event. It was just a small, fun event. But, dude, they let us, like, drill like connections to put
into the church,
like where where the big organs are at. They just put like screens up in front of the organs and shit. Like it was out of control.
Yeah, and it was a real legit a church.
It was such a cool space though, and like there was was
that guy would probably he won't let us back in that space for sure.
Oh, was it too rowdy?
Oh yeah, I actually recontacted him and he was like, no shot, like not a shot. Like
it was a little debaucherous.
It was debaucherous,
dude. I know all about playing in churches, man. I mean, I played in bands for years and metal bands.
It was before we
would play at churches and shit, dude.
Yeah.
And it was very, like I can't tell you how many, like, we had Christian metal bands. So like halfway through, they'd be like, "Let us pray." Then they'd pray. They'd pray, and then right after that, I'd be like, "I need to see somebody fucking die out here. Open up this fucking pit in the name of Jesus."
God,
I know that was really loud.
Now I really I want like a Christian like hardcore rock album like that.
Dude, Creed.
Metal. Creed. Oh God.
I didn't know they were a Christian band. Creed. Kyle, can you fact check me on this?
They are.
Are you serious?
I'm 6 feet from the right. Them
no
guys,
way.
Yeah, maybe.
I was raised in the 90s.
Yeah, dude, I love me some Creed, bro. People talk shit about that band. I was literally listening to them like 3 nights ago on the way back from the county fair out here, and I was like, "This is such a good band. Fuck everybody."
Appropriate band to listen to on the way back from the county fair.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, right,
that's what
exactly.
I thought. Dude, yeah, and like Under Oath, they're a Christian band.
Yep.
I'm still trying.
Wait, Under Oath is a
process
Christian
the fact
band?
that
Oh,
Creed-
wow.
I did not know Creed was a Christian band.
Kyle, can you look up what
is
bands are
wild.
Christian bands that we would not expect?
POD.
POD?
I think I remember being in middle school and POD being a Christian band.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Lamb of God?
Maybe.
No way, dude.
Christian name.
Yeah,
you know,
Slipknot.
Yeah, Slipknot for sure. Yeah. Who knows?
YouTube, Mumford and Sons, Bell and Sebastian, the Avett Brothers, Black Sabbath.
There's no way Black Sabbath.
That's a BuzzFeed article. I'm
that's
never going to
bullshit,
BuzzFeed again.
dude.
Someone who thinks those bands should be Christian.
Yeah.
That's all fake news.
Maybe it's names that could be considered Christian bands.
Mumford and Sons. Yeah, I guess so. Whatever. But yeah, that's our parties, and we've been streaming them.
Yeah, I wanted to get back to the streaming thing because I did a stream for y'all for Mardi Gras during deep pandemic, and it was me and Comus. I think. I think he was Clutch at that time. Still.
Yeah.
Dude, we did a back-to-back for like 3.5 hours, I think. Yeah. And dude, we got so fucking drunk. Towards the end, I'm like dancing, and then I literally, there's like the booth monitor right by me. I just fall over.
Oh God.
On the stream. But it was fun, dude. It was like a 3.5 hour, like we didn't think we were going to be able to celebrate Mardi Gras at all because it was like,
I remember this. I remember. Yep. Okay. I remember.
And so we literally did like a 3.5 hour set as a back-to-back, and it was fucking awesome. We went every type of genre you can think of, we hit, and it was a blast. I mean, he's my favorite guy to do a back-to-back with anyway. But yeah, going to streaming now, y'all just did the E-Prom show, right?
Yeah.
We didn't stream it.
Yeah.
We because that's the other side.
We didn't live stream it.
Yeah, we didn't live stream it, but we recorded from 11 different camera angles so that we could go master a streamable version that's going to go out on our app exclusively.
basically going back to COVID, once we got out of that, I mean, there was about a 1.5 year break, but always in the back of our minds, it was like, hey, let's get back to Twitch. Let's go back to doing this. We hit it big with Daily Bread on Twitch and a few other artists after COVID. And I think for the past 1.5 years, we started to develop an app, and it was River Beats TV. And the goal was to, we got some inspiration from like Nugs TV. Are you familiar with them?
No, I'm not.
They were basically doing the same thing in the jam world. Lots of streams with like Dead and Company and Goose and stuff like that. And we thought that, dance music really, or this world didn't really have something built as like a streaming platform dedicated to dance fans and like music. And it's also a thing right now, as you're sure you know, is like artists are recording their own sets, putting it out on their YouTubes, and like it keeps growing and growing, in which people are like, I want to record my set, I want to put it out, I want to put it out. So not only do we build an app in which we can, have subscribers come on and watch our content, but it has a pay-per-view wall. So artists could decide if, they have a sold out tour, if they want to pay-per-view the stop to people all over the world, they can do that as well. We can license content. So say you do something on your own and we come in and say, hey, we'd love to buy us and put it on our app. And then, we can have buy or rent products. So same exact thing. Maybe you have a very special set. It's very popular. You want to put it out on something on our app. People can go on there. They can buy, they can rent it, almost like Amazon Prime. And then we are a full-fledged production house. So we bought all the gear ourselves in-house, and we're open as a vendor to work with artists to record their sets and let them put it out on their channels. And, even work with like festivals and sponsors. And it's really new. I mean, the app launched in June. So basically the business launched then,
Yeah, I remember seeing y'all. I don't know if you were there, but Benny, you were at Sonic Bloom.
Oh yeah,
Were you there too, Sean?
I was not there.
I didn't remember seeing you, but yeah, I remember you had the River Beats TV tent up. I remember y'all had reached out to my team about recording my comedy set. I'm like, oh God, no.
Yeah, right.
that was a hard no.
Yeah.
I think I messaged my manager back. I was like, ain't no fucking way.
The funny thing was, it was like, you're the only one we really knew.
Yeah.
And it was the only hard no. But then, like, as soon as we talked about it, we were like, yeah, we kind of expected that.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
And it wasn't that we didn't want to catch a set of yours, but we had only gotten permission to be on one stage. It was our first time approaching it with them, and they were like, it was like 3 weeks before the festival, so it was a last minute thing that we worked out with them. And actually, Evan and Scott helped us work it out with them.
Was that the Tie-Dye live band?
Yeah, well, we got the Hummingbird stage for the whole weekend.
Nice.
They were like, you can set up the Hummingbird stage, do as many cameras as you want, do a full production, and then we went to work. We had 3 weeks to get in touch with every team that was playing on that stage, and we got in touch with probably 7 or 8 good teams. And then while we were out there, I was like, I'm just gonna ask everybody, we're here, we got it all set up. If you want us to catch your set, we can do it for you. And we did. We ended up getting 15 sets throughout the weekend. And then we took them back and took we ISO recorded from every camera. So we have the whole show from 4 to 6. We did 6 angles while we were out there, but like EPROM, we did 11 camera angles. Yeah. And so we can take that back into post-production and master the audio, master the sound, pick our favorite angles for every moment of the entire show, and really piece together a work of art, make it into more of a cinematic production of a movie of their show, that's kind of the aim.
And I've always loved that. Like, I love that y'all are doing this, just because like I go watch some of my favorite bands online, and like, you have people who have their phone videos, but like I'm looking for like the Rock Ammering Music Festival, because they have all the camera angles and it sounds great. Like it's a, a high quality recording of this live show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a new thing in our world. We're looking to branch out and go into all other parts of music. Like, that's obviously our goal. But for our app now, like, we're dedicated to getting dance music up on there. And it's been other genres seem to embrace this a little bit different than what's happening now. And like, if you look at who's kind of doing it right now in the States, right? I mean, I think it's probably Def Global, and then
dude, they're doing fucking.
They are,
yeah.
But why we didn't go that route? No hate to them, is that like they can't monetize any of that unless they get a sponsor, and maybe they are, great for them. I'm not ripping on them, but like for us, it's like if we can build a platform that's ours, in which like we have no one's gonna go on there one day and be like, take all those sets down, it's all copyright, and all of a sudden your platform's banned. And then for us, it was like we wanted to build this platform in which we would own the material, and we knew it would be a long game, right? Like, and I think building an app, you're so focused on building the app and the development of the app. And so that when it's finally out, you're like, oh crap, now we got to figure out how to get people there, like
you got to understand what the marketplace wants from you. And there's no way to like guess that when you're coming into a community like ours that doesn't have it yet.
Yeah.
So it's like we're taking a big risk, but at the same time, we can see where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Imagine like any artist. I mean, what over a 20-year career, you probably play 12 to 15 incredible tours, right? And what do you have at the end of that? But some recaps and some great footage. What if you were to memorialize the biggest stop from that tour every time you do a tour, and then when you look back over your career, you've got a cinematic production movie of one of those stops from every tour you've ever done, and we all know this is where the future's heading, and now you can monetize that for the rest of your retirement, or even part of your career.
I mean, that's one, like, so what you said, you were like, it's something that's not here yet in this scene, but if we can see where it's going, that's how I feel about with this podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's not a lot of artists hosting podcasts. There's a few, but like it's not that, we don't have massive podcasts.
No, I agree with you.
I think it's an overall healthy thing for the scene, and I can see where it could go.
Yeah. I'd agree with on the podcast level. I think you've done a great job, and there's really not many people there that's doing it. And like, you have to have some sort of relevancy in order to do it, and you have that. So, I think it's been good. I think
we intend on getting podcasts onto our platform.
Yeah, just make sure you edit them. They can get you in trouble sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the beauty of having your own platform.
Right? Yeah, right.
They tell us who we can and can't put on there, and that's the beauty of it.
Well, no one can really tell you who you can or can't put on there anyway.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. But I think going back to our app, we're open to work with literally anybody. So like even the deaf global, the deaf people sounded terrible. Kyle, let's make sure that doesn't make it. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. Deaf Global, they are doing their own thing, and like, we're open to work with them. We're open to work with anybody. We're kind of definitely in a beta realm of what our app is and how it works, and how people are going to get there, and how much it costs and what we think people are going to pay. And it's definitely a long haul thing for us, but it's definitely the route we wanted to go, is into this world of like video production and owning the equipment and being able to work with artist teams in production. And, EPROM was just like the first kind of, I would say, case study that we did. So like present people of like what we can do. That and Sonic Bloom is we kind of went out on our own dime and did those things. And we're like, hey, here's what we can do as a company. So
I love it though. Like I said, like like every band video I want to watch are the ones that you guys are trying to make for dance music people,
right.
And that does not live. I mean, the only type of streams you see that are like that, and they don't even like put them out there on an app, or like the Lost Land streams, the Couchlands.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times too, it's just convincing a lot of artists to get on board with it. There's barriers that are very old school ways of thinking, like, oh, if you put the stream on, no one's going to show up to the event, and
that's a thought I had too. I'm like, I'm glad you guys aren't live streaming it, y'all are taking it and making it for like the end of a tour thing, because it's like, all right, we're gonna live stream this show tonight at Mission Ballroom. We're like, why am I gonna buy tickets then?
True. We don't think that's going to be a huge issue though.
I really don't.
Well, depending on the relevancy of who it is, right? If the show sold 1,500 tickets at Mission, maybe you don't want to do it, right? But if it's heading for a sellout, or the artist is close to a sellout, then like I think it's a model that can work.
I also
live streaming.
I don't think there's gonna be. Anybody who wants to go to these shows, a live stream's never going to replace the live show.
Sure.
The vibe of the energy of 3,000 people in the same room watching a live event with that production in your face.
The dance floor,
it's never going to replace that. So like running a live stream on a show, I don't believe will ever impact in a heavy way ticket sales for a live event. But
the only way it would impact it is that the people putting on the show can't worry about the stream because their goal is ticket sales. So if they're having to we're worried about the stream, not focusing on the ticket sales, then like it's like, okay. So that would be the only way I think it would impact, is when you're focused too much on that. But a lot of times, we're handling that, so there's nothing to really worry about.
Until this shit hits VR.
Yeah. There you go.
Until y'all have a camera walking around the dance floor, and that's people.
Maybe that's the next thing we go into.
No.
Oh, sorry.
No.
And
I'm trying to survive out here.
Okay, sorry.
You should think about it more like an extension of the door. right? And so it can be monetized just like a ticket at the door. The only time it would impact, I believe, a promoter or a venue is with alcohol sales, right? And so the future of this is to have things built into our app where we can geo-fence and black out areas, right? If so we're doing a Cervantes show and they don't want it to hurt ticket sales, well, then we just black out the ability to even buy the live stream tickets from a radius around that venue, and then whenever ticket sales finally sell out, then you can open up tickets to the local area. So there's ways around it that are being worked on that we believe will be able to fit into the realm of it.
It's kind of an exciting time though, because we own the equipment, so like it's really just dependent on us really getting these deals. But like reaching out, it's like we had a call this morning with a team that's fairly big, their management group's fairly big. And I mean, like, they were pretty on board for a lot of different things. It's like you can see the wheels spinning in their head on how we can be used for them. So it's exciting / interesting for sure.
I could see how it could be interesting, especially since it's like a new thing.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, we were wanting to, I mean, you're probably getting told no a good bit. Like, I do this podcast, I get like 10 no's per 1 yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
totally.
that's part of it. But it's like, you know, taking these people and you're like, all right, we're going to do this big thing and try to record it. All these angles are like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I think the bigger the artist, though, the more they understand it.
Yeah.
They've been around the world and they get where they're coming from. Like, we've talked to, like, EPROM's team is Compass Music Group, right? So, you know, lots of different artists they have underneath there. We've worked with them for Vector, for Goldfish, and they were very with it. You know, they understood it. They're with it. They're like, come do it. We know how much this costs. We know how much your equipment is. I think, like, you know, some of the smaller teams or the artists that are kind of on their way up, it's like, wait, what do you want to do? It's like, you know.
The response has been, because, look, that was one of our biggest worries, right? We got it
Totally.
together. We're like, what are they going to say?
Yeah,
Are
literally.
they going to tell us to get the fuck out of the room? Or are they
Also,
going to be...
it's a little different. Y'all said y'all were doing it on your own dime just to show everybody what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, how do you say no to that?
Yeah.
And instead of like the guys, like, I can fly this drone for you for $700.
right.
Like, no.
Yeah, right.
It was the exact opposite. The first team we talked to, that, you know, we were like, we want to, you know, talk about this event. And they were like, have you seen the rest of our roster?
Yeah, literally.
They
were like, okay,
said
who
that.
else on the roster would you want to do this with? We were like,
Yeah, we were like, oh shit,
okay,
okay.
yeah.
This is a lot more receptive than we
So,
expected.
and so those deep shows that we've been doing at the pool, those are great for us to stream because, you know, we're doing well on those. So that, you know, we're making some good money and we're able to afford labor on the cost of those. Like the EPROMs and the Sonic Blooms, we're basically just, you know, using this as like a way to get content and like a case study. Like, here's what we can do. So
Yeah, that's what I tell, like, I talk to like photographers and shit. They're like, man, I'm really big in photography. I want to break out into the scene. How can I get on? I'm like, go shoot for somebody for free.
Totally.
Go do it. Go do it for free. I know it sucks to hear.
It does.
But show them what your worth is.
Yeah.
Like, show them what you can do.
yeah,
Right.
you got to
And then
be savvy with it, but I completely agree. Yeah. You know, especially if you're just starting out.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
we didn't only just say, hey, we'll do this for you for free. We said we'll do this for you for free if it can live on our app exclusively.
Totally.
Oh, word.
Yeah. And they're like, yeah, do it. Let's go.
How hard was it building that app?
Hard.
It was difficult.
It was there's so much to know that you don't know. So
Yeah.
you got to find someone you trust that can
Yeah.
give you the right advice.
Yeah, are
Here's-
either one of you guys app developers?
No, so we had to hire. But you know, one thing that, you know, the sentence that kind of resonated with me when we first started is that, like, when you move to build an app, you are now a tech company. Right, like you weren't a tech company before. Now you are. Like, you have to worry about is the servers of the app, the development of the app, the updates with the app stores, and it's not one app store. You have to launch on all of the app stores. So we're on Apple, we're on Apple Plus, we're on Roku.
Wait, there's an Apple Plus?
I meant Apple TV. Sorry.
Okay,
Apple
I'm like,
TV. We're on
Jesus.
iOS. We're on Android. We're on Android TV.
But
we're
it's
on
a
Roku.
different process.
Every
with
single one of them
them
is different. You know, you have to launch on each one of them. Each one of them have to approve your content. Each one of them needs certain things to go live. You have to, and then while you're building the app, you still have to worry about the different app stores. You know, you have to talk to people from the app stores. It's like easily a 6 to 12 month process, and only if you have a good development team, right? So that's it. Yeah. So like I said, though, when you're focused on building the app, like we're not a company that has millions of dollars in backing. So it's like, you know, we had a little bit of investment to do this in the buyer of our equipment. And, you know, when you're focused on building the app and purchasing this equipment, it's hard to think about once the app launches, you're like, oh crap, here we go. Now we got to go, you know?
Yeah.
And like, we're 2 months in and we think we're like, you know, we're kind of behind, but it looks great. It's functioning. Like the app looks
the app looks
fantastic.
fantastic.
Like, and we have content on there. It's just now figuring out how, what do we got to do to, give people it for free as long as possible and keep people on there once it's no longer free,
Yeah, we got to give them enough time to
we're
see
competing.
what we're doing.
Yeah, we're competing with YouTube and free stuff on Twitch, so.
And the app launched, you said, in June.
Yeah, the app basically went live in June. And here's a fun part about building apps if everyone wants to do it. You can't be like, oh, we're going to launch this in June, so let's build the marketing plan. Because like we got for a 2-month period, Amazon basically denied the app being published.
Why?
Just we didn't fill the right requirements.
Tiny little things on one application.
So it's like if and it was like that on Roku, and so like say you're greenlit on Apple TV, right? But iOS needs something. That's a bad because they're the same company, but Roku needs something, right? So you can't be like, our app's live, go find it on this one. We'll be live on the other 6 in a week. It's like you needed them all to be live at the same time. Then you can launch it publicly to the market. So that was so new to us because like we're, you know how it goes. Like you have marketing plans, you have dates, like things go out on this date. Like, and that was hard to do it that way.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And simultaneously, we kind of realized this that we were building we were building the plane while we were flying it because
totally
we weren't only building and launching an app, but at the same time we were booking an 8-show series in Denver, and we were doing our shift series, and we have some other projects we're getting ready to work on while simultaneously running all the publications and keeping up with all of our agency business. So it's like, and there's just the two of us.
Are you doing all the talent buying for y'all shows?
We participate through one of our members of our team, Greg Glassman. When he first started over there, they were doing all the booking. But Greg is just, gosh, he's one of those guys that like, you know how in football, there's like those guys and gals that know about like high school players before they even get to college. They're just that deep into the
I'm kind of one of those guys.
Yeah, So you know all the Denver studs on the high school teams around here?
No.
But that's how Greg is for music, right?
Yeah.
He just seems to know about everybody that's up and coming that you've never heard of, and he knows which ones have traction. So he's just really good about knowing it. Maybe it's not even about booking the headliners. He knows about who else to put on the lineup to make sure it's a solid show. And he's just so good at it that eventually they started to bring him in on the ideas. And that, I mean, and now he's working, with Evan and Scott and doing all of it.
Yeah. So the Shift, Greg's heavily involved in the Shift. Evan is the main talent buyer in that.
Evan's a dog.
Yeah, he's great, man.
Yeah,
he
dude.
really knows what he's doing.
Yeah, dude, I'm one of those football guys, dude. My ex used to get so mad at me because, like, I'd remember a player, like an NFL player, what college he went to, what round he was drafted in, X, Y, and Z, but I couldn't remember our anniversary.
That's hilarious. Have you ever seen that Twitter page? It's like it just tweets out random college athletes every single day. It takes a photo of a college athlete, doesn't put a caption on it, and just tweets it out. It's hilarious. And they'll be like the goofiest photos. It'll be like Beverly Jones, Hofstra University, 2006, and she's just like standing there, dude. You have to look at this Twitter account.
Johnny Manziel at Texas A&M.
Well, that's the
thing.
thing.
He's just doing a line of cocaine.
Yeah, right. They'll have like people on there like they'll throw in celebrities and not say anything. So it'll be like The Rock, and it'll be like Dwayne Johnson, University of Miami, and like people are just like, oh, this guy's not gonna live up to be anything, like
they'll be like, it's a picture of Dwayne Johnson. They're like Mac Jones, Alabama.
Yeah, that's so funny.
I like those. It's like Instagram reels where it's like a refrigerator drops and hits a person. And
Whoa!
But then it shows the refrigerator is like one of those high schools, like refrigerator went to Alabama. You're like it's like you know what I'm talking about, where they do the interviews with the players, like but they do it with like whatever inanimate object just ended up like smashing somebody.
I love that.
It's
dude.
hilarious.
Like the Key and Peele skit. I know you've seen that.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. Okay.
This is fun.
Yeah.
But going back to the streaming, so since the app has launched and, you guys got content at Sonic Bloom for EPROM, I feel had a lot of other people hitting y'all up. Like, how's it going so far?
No, because they don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's so new to this side of the game. And, like, we haven't done as much reach outs as we should yet. I'm not going to lie. That I think it's going to come over time. It's going to come over time. It's just like...
We've been waiting to reach out to make sure we had our portfolio together, right?
Yeah.
So we wanted to have the EPROM case study, and we wanted to have the best sets that we got from Sonic Bloom, so that we could use those assets when we're reaching out to groups that don't even, I mean, half the people we know don't even know what we do yet, because they're some of the groups we were talking to last week, they were like, we didn't even know you guys did this. And it's like, well,
I didn't know either whenever y'all got here.
Yeah,
exactly.
We just started, so we're getting ready to start reaching out to everyone, and we have a deck built, and we've got some great assets to share with people, so they can actually see the quality of our work rather than just us telling them what we're doing and telling them about all this great equipment we have. We hired a team that's been doing this for decades. I mean, we have a very serious squad together now, but I mean, what can you do if you can't show them?
Yeah.
I'll say this, man. I've seen some live streams at music festivals, and it is the funniest shit. Like, because it is live, right?
Yeah.
And y'all can do live stuff, but like, it's funny at a festival whenever like they turn to like the person in the crowd, and then there's the person behind the person that they're recording, and you're just fucking doing drugs or something like that.
That's so
I'm
funny.
like, oh, that guy's doing coke. I'm like, I pointed out, I'm like, that's funny.
I've been seeing a lot of those sporting events where they're doing the live streams where they'll zero the camera in on the guy doing the wrong thing.
Right. So
Trying to catch 'em.
Pretty Lights streamed all 3 nights this past weekend, and they had a guy in a Celtics jersey at the front, and like for some reason they kept showing this guy on the stream over and over again. So like the 3rd night I went to see Pretty Lights on Sunday, and he shouted out the Celtics guy. He was like,
He was wearing the Celtics jersey every night?
Yes, every night. A, hope he washed it, but maybe not. But B,
I know how that goes.
Yeah, and then I almost called him Derek as if we're best friends or something. PL was just like, Celtics guy, and everybody started going crazy. And like,
What if that was one of his friends?
right? They just put him as an industry player.
Or what if it was like somebody from the Celtics and nobody knew because they're at a dance show and they don't give a fuck
Right.
about basketball?
Right, that's funny.
That's funny.
That is funny.
Yeah.
I love that.
They did have one fan at the EPROM show that was like, some kid looked like he was like 19, was going, I mean, ham the whole show, nonstop. The whole time you're watching, like, man, I wonder what he's on. Come to find out, he's just like super passionate young kid, totally sober at the time of his life, like head banging the rail the whole time. So at the end, they like brought him out a signed poster. He was all
That's awesome.
super
That's
stoked
awesome.
about
That's
it.
great.
It was
Yeah.
super cool.
I heard that was the greatest 3-night run at Mission Ballroom ever.
With PL.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Was it 4 nights or 3?
3
It was
nights.
3.
Yeah, I heard that it's fucking. I had Andre went.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, there's no words. He's
Yeah,
like,
it
that
was
was
really
the best
good.
show I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and like I'm a big PL fan. I'm not heavily on his. I couldn't name songs left after right when he comes on, right? Like some of those people were, but like their band is just so well put together, and the guys they have up there, right? He's got like Chris Carnes up there, who's like a legend by himself. He's got Michael Minard up there. He's got a dude from New Orleans up there. Alvin Ford, his drummer, is a dude from New Orleans, great guy. And then Borum Lee from Break Science. So he's like rolling with an all-star like band up there, and like. Yeah.
So I got told a story about Pretty Lights, and it has to do with New Orleans.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's true. This is allegedly.
I think
Okay.
I think I know this story.
All right. Well, if it's not the same story, I want to know your story.
All right.
But fucking this guy was working at the studio, and this girl walks in, and she's like, "Hey, I'm here to be in Studio B, whatever." He's like showing her around and whatever, and then as soon as right when he's about to get in, they're like, "What's your name?" And it was fucking Cardi B.
Oh wow.
Cardi B and Travis Scott in the studio with Pretty Lights. I don't know if this is true. I've
Really?
gotten told this by a couple of different people.
So they just like went to the studio and he was there, and then like they
Well, they were there on his session.
what?
Yeah. So like, what if Pretty Lights has some shit with Cardi B and Travis Scott? Would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. What was your story?
No, I don't want to tell my story.
Okay.
It was about when remember he did the parade
Yeah.
around.
Dude, that was the first week I moved out there.
There was
It was crazy.
There
Yeah.
was like
Does
this,
he still live there?
I believe so.
Yeah, he
Okay.
loves some
Yeah.
New
Okay,
Orleans.
cool.
He's
Yeah.
got I think he's got his own place in studio.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
But there was like this. It was Twitter rumblings more, I think. But they were saying that he ended the tour right across the street from his ex's house or something like that.
Oh God, I did hear that. He
That's-
did.
That's
yeah.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, if I had to go and did a parade down in New Orleans, I'd go
There was like a parade that
right
led
where
to
my
a
girlfriend
show.
ex works.
Yeah.
Under an underpass or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw
He's
something.
done like
sure
several
it was
things like
rumors.
that in New Orleans. He did after Buku one night. He just like popped up outside the festival like on a trailer, and they were like, it just like no one even announced it. He just started playing, and people were like, I think that's Pretty Lights. And
Yeah.
then before you know it, there was hundreds of people there, and like
There was one under an underpass that he did. I think that's the one where they.
That's the one we're talking
Yeah,
about.
Yeah,
yeah,
the parade
yeah.
like ended at the under the pass, and they had a big.
That was a
old
fun day.
thing set up.
that was a cool. It was a
Incredible.
cool thing for that he did that. But
I didn't go because I literally just moved out there, and I'm like, I haven't worked on music in like 2 weeks because I've been moving and packing.
In New Orleans?
Yeah. And I wish I would have
You
went.
missed it.
It's all right.
I missed it.
You working has led to where you are now, so there you go.
Yeah.
We'll count that for
Well, then that's why I haven't gone to the deep.
Okay, cool. That's fine. We like that. Don't worry.
It's
Working.
acceptable answer.
That's awesome. Yeah, we did have some. Well, first, before we get to that, anything else about what y'all got going on that y'all wanted to share?
No, I mean, that's basically what we've been up to. I think, we kind of talked about it's like an evolution of like where we started to where we've been. Advice for anyone that's like in the writing game. I know you talked about that, photographers. It's like, you should definitely, if you want to explore writing and dance music, I definitely say go for it. Is it a career you can own and have, and make a living off of? I don't know that that's going to be the
writing?
case. Yeah, blogging, writing,
Oh, got you.
But I think getting involved and starting that way is a great way to leverage yourself and get into the other parts of the industry.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I
I've seen
mean,
a lot of our writers go on
Yeah.
to do really cool things.
yeah, I think just talking about the evolution of where we've been and what we're doing now. It was something I wanted to note and add in there.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, we did have some fan questions I wanted to get to before we got to them. See if Kyle had anything I want to ask. Speaking of Kyle, dude, we got some fucking new cameras. I hate that I didn't say that in the beginning of this episode. We got new cameras looking better.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, we're still having some technical issues that we're working out some kinks, but we're getting there.
Yeah, we're gonna have it. We're gonna have this fucking. It's gonna be professional, dude.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna look like River Beats TV
Studio
up in
looks
this
nice.
bitch.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, the studio looks nice.
It does. Looks great.
So for me, what do you guys think is the most important thing when starting because I know how stressful it can be to start a project that you're just unsure of, but you really want to put a lot of effort into it. So what do you think is the most important thing when working together with somebody? And is there anything you would want to say on, how do you guys work things out together? Do you guys ever disagree, and how do you go through that?
Yeah, I think we've done a fantastic job over the past 7 years of being partners and listening to each other, and we do disagree all the time, but I think one of us allows the other one to kind of win the moment, and then if it doesn't work out, we just kind of eat crow. I mean, that's basically it. Like
it's more like and a lot of the times we'll both be very passionate about whatever our point is, and a lot of times it'll be neither one of the points we were making, and we end up coming up with something
in the middle.
Yeah,
like one of us will say
actually makes more
something,
sense.
and the other one will be like, "That's not it." And then like you keep going on, you're like, "All right, well, I guess it does make a little bit more sense." But
We've never had a
yeah,
blowout fight or anything.
no,
You need
like
to. I
that,
think it's
or-
healthy.
yeah, for sure. Just
I think
go
it's
at
very
it.
healthy.
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
I remember me and my manager got into it one night where we were fucking yelling at each other, cussing.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Was it
Oh, dude, we got done. I was like, God, that was
amazing? All right, we'll try
that
that
was
next time.
fucking-
bro.
Yeah, we've never.
Oh,
just,
dude.
I don't know.
felt good, man.
I've had a lot of business partners in the last 20 years,
Mm.
and it is very rare to find one that you don't fight with all the time. Like, we're not a lot alike either. Like, we're both close to center, but we're both on probably opposite sides of the line on almost everything. But it's like I don't know. It's hard to meet someone else who doesn't let their personal views like sabotage a good business partnership. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
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 No, yeah, especially these days. I have advice that I wanted to give to that dude because I actually just experienced this. I was working on a collab with a bigger artist
Yeah.
for my record, and when I sent him the idea, it was like really polished idea, super fucking awesome. He sent it back, and I was just like, man, I don't know if I like this.
Yeah.
And the advice I tell people is see it through, right?
Yeah.
If someone else is seeing something, see what they're seeing. Try to understand where they're trying to take it. Because I was like, this isn't hitting it for me. But I stuck it through. And was like, I want to hear what he's hearing, and we worked on it, and then it came out amazing.
Awesome.
And I was just like, I have that experience with collabings where we're collaborating with other artists where it's just like, oh, I'm hearing this, I'm hearing that. And then every time I've collabed with somebody, I'm like, oh, you're hearing that? Let's try this. Let's try that and see where we can take it. So just see it through is my advice, just something like that.
I think that's great advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
What's the albums? Oh, you don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Dude. I don't know. I've been up all night thinking about it. I cannot
right.
sleep because I'm just running through terrible ideas in my head.
Yeah.
But when it hits, like you said, Benny, when it hits, it's going to
Yep.
fucking hit,
It'll hit.
dude. The album's phenomenal.
I would
Awesome.
say if I were to give advice on how to choose a partner, it would be to find somebody who doesn't spend all their time trying to get you to understand, but
Oh, wow, that's a good one.
somebody who tries to understand. And it's almost like
Wait, say that again.
It's like almost like emotional maturity, right? So like I found that like all through my 20s and probably part of my 30s, you know, like people tend to spend most of their time trying to be understood. But eventually you just stop trying to be understood and you just start trying to understand a lot more.
Deep.
I love that.
Damn, I can take a lesson from that too, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people can take lessons from that.
Yeah.
It's good.
I like that.
I like that. Fuck
Hey,
yeah.
Mitch, before we get to another question, maybe these guys are the ones who should run EDM Fight Night.
Oh, shit, dude.
What is this?
Oh, man. So I got this
Sounds
amazing
awesome.
business. All right. You're about to give me a verbal NDA right now.
Let's go.
Okay?
All right.
To have verbal NDAs, you will not steal this idea.
No, we're not going to steal your idea.
What you mean is a verbal NDA and a non-circumvent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you go.
That's
Okay,
it.
cool. There you go.
What the fuck was that last part?
Non-circumvention means they can't go around you to people you put them in touch with the same idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I get verbal of this?
Yes,
I will sue
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, done.
All right, I want to do EDM Fight Night, dude, because we've
Okay.
been seeing Jake Paul and Logan Paul, fucking people with these massive followings and celeb
Yeah.
status, throw these boxing matches.
Okay.
And they're making way more money than any other boxer, and making a lot more money than most UFC fighters. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Who are you fighting? You're going to fight?
I'm commentating.
Okay, got it. I got it.
But I'm talking about like Jansen versus Kaiwachi.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
Excision versus Getter.
Oh, shit. I'd pay
fucking-
great money for that.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
Rez
lie.
versus Lucy. You know, like
Oh,
shit
you're
like
getting
that,
deep.
dude.
Oh my god.
Well, you first
Our ring girl's Recno. Just, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, that's the shit that I want to do.
we'd probably have to bring a big, nice, fat sponsor on board
is
for that.
Oh, yeah.
fantastic.
Okay. You brand it and bring it to us, and we'll go from
EDM
there.
Fight Night, dude.
All right,
we
yeah.
have a main card. We'll have preliminary rounds where we'll be like
Are they boxing or UFC?
boxing.
Okay,
Taboo's
got it.
Yeah.
blue collar boxing.
There you go.
They actually have a
That's
really
genius.
good. There's a really good fight scene in Denver.
Really?
And, yeah, and I had a good friend who used to work with a company that would film all the fights here in Denver. So when we used to have artists come through that were playing shows for us or that I was just hanging out with because they were playing Red Rocks, I used to get him to get us ringside seats, and I took Boogie T and all those guys.
What the fuck?
And I think I took Subtronics to one maybe, but we would go. I'd take him to these ringside fights before we would go to their show that night.
Dude, that's
It
awesome.
was so much fun.
That is. I want to know about these fights.
Yeah.
It was
I've
just
never.
like something different.
I've
you know?
never been to like. Well, I did karate for years, and I did all the tournaments for about 3.5 years, and so. But that was when I was a kid, dude. Like, and we were, it
Yeah.
was like sanctioned, point. You know, you stopped.
Right.
I want to see some motherfuckers beat the shit out of each other, dude. You know what I mean? I want to go to one of these fights.
Boogie T versus Subtronics as like a friendly joust. would be
Whoa,
pretty
that
cool.
sounds really
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
They would both
yeah.
be awful.
Yeah, they would be. Also, fun fact: we booked Subtronics in New Orleans in 2017 for $1,500.
Whoa.
And he sold out the. It was Republic. He sold out the venue.
He sold out
Who else? We had a bunch.
Probably
of those
the
good ones.
most I've ever netted on a show up until recently, probably because we've these deep shows have been doing well. But yeah, it was $1,500, and he had like a small back end deal of like $200.
Was that
Dude,
one
I
of those
had,
ones where he played on the floor too? It was like
No, he played on the
Did you
stage.
stage?
But like I still remember booking the show and one of the people being like, "Are you sure this is gonna sell?" I'm like, "Dude, this guy is like on the way up." And then like it sold
yeah.
out, and like now he's probably getting what 25, 30K at a show. I don't
we
know.
booked.
Think? Just
think?
that
No?
little? No, I'm thinking way
more.
more.
Okay, I don't know.
I'm thinking way more.
We booked Brock for a double decker boat party. Bass Nectar was playing.
Rock is Boogie T, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
sorry.
Boogie T was playing, or Bass Nectar was playing Atlantic City. So we went and rented a double decker tour boat, and we threw the SS Basslantis, and we booked Boogie T for Friday. And then we were trying to figure out who to book on Saturday, and it was like a Friday when we booked him for the first one. And I called on Monday to try to book him for the second night, and they were like, "Oh, he signed to Circle Talent over the weekend."
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
I had to, so they sent me to Jake Bernstein, and they were like, "You got to go deal with Jake." And I was like, "Come on, man, we just booked him for like $1,200." He's like, "Not a chance."
yeah, not
Yeah.
a chance at that.
Right.
So it was a different price for Friday versus Saturday, just because he went over to Circle Talent like over the weekend. I was like, "What timing?"
Those guys
Yeah,
are great.
I
though.
It was
had,
great though, man. It was
yeah.
such an awesome show too.
Yeah.
I had Disco Donnie on the podcast a while back.
Oh wow.
Nice.
And he was telling me about whenever he booked Skrillex.
Oh,
on
wow.
like a 3-night run in all these different cities. He was throwing out like $1,200 a night.
That's crazy.
Isn't that amazing?
That is
Yeah.
crazy. Disco Donnie is a New Orleans guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's
we
a
talked.
legend.
We talked
Yeah.
a lot about that when I had him on the show.
He's been throwing shows for like
So
30 years.
he got
almost.
the Rave Act is
Mm-hmm.
caused by him. That was published because of him. Like to basically shut down raves in the 90s.
It was Biden who was actually doing that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Holy
was.
shit. Did not
I
know
could
that.
be incorrect about that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Kyle, could you look up the Rave Act Joe Biden? Maybe I believe it was Joe Biden who was doing all that.
Okay.
My
but
first
yeah, he
rave
was
was in 1996.
Wow.
Damn, I was a year old.
Yep.
Well,
I was
6,
it was
so I
before,
feel
before cell
good.
phones existed, and
For a lot of
there
things
was-
existed, probably.
Well, it was so cool because the whole scene was truly underground, and it was never in the same city on one night. So we would travel the whole East Coast for the rave scene. So on like a Friday night, it'd be in Raleigh, North Carolina. Saturday night, it would be in Charlotte or Charleston, South Carolina, and then the next night it was in Atlanta. So you were traveling, and it was like 10,000 rave kids all going to the same shows. So you got to know a lot of the same people. But when you went into one of those buildings with 10,000 people
No
and
phones.
you lost your friends,
Oh.
you just made new friends.
Yeah. Let's
go.
And by the end of the night, everyone knew to meet at the car. But in Charlotte, they would end the raves at 6 a.m, and you would go out to your car around like 4, and there would be a piece of paper that would show you directions to the after party club that opened at 4 a.m. went till noon, and you would you would literally get in a line of cars. The line of cars would be like 7 miles long. You didn't need directions. You just followed the line of cars to the after party. You could even get off and get gas and get back in the line and keep going to this party at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the
That's
morning.
incredible.
It was incredible. It was always like Sasha and Digweed and Paul Oakenfold with like AK 1200 and Diesel Boy in it was the jungle room. There was no bass music. It was drum and bass and jungle.
Yeah.
Like the two kinds of bass music back then. They'd have all these cargo nets hung up on it was incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Joe Biden did introduce the Rave Act.
That's what I thought.
In 2002 and in 2003, the bill failed to pass.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
because
did
the Disco
bill
Donnie
say?
fought it, dude.
Okay,
I talked to him about this on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was, dude, when I had him on the show, he was doing OBW. It was the first festival back. I actually have a trophy back there on my floor. It fell off my speaker while I was trying to figure out all the cable shit for the
From the
Donnie-
festival?
No, he gave a first
Yeah.
festival back trophy. But dude, he was just so stressed.
Yeah.
Because
I
it was
bet.
like, he's doing the first festival back from COVID, and everyone's like, nah, fuck you. And he's like, we're in Texas, bitch. Like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh,
It-
people trying to shit on him for coming back too early.
Yeah, but now
Yeah.
look at him now.
Yeah, he's Texas is a great place to throw anything. There's so many people there. So, but yeah, State Palace, New Orleans, 90s. That's where he got started, and that's where it got shut down. And then the Rave Act. Yeah.
Yeah, one of my mentors used to go, when I first started DJing, shout out DJ Yuri out of Mississippi. He was one of my mentors, and he used to go DJ those parties out
wow.
State Palace out
That's
in New
awesome.
Orleans.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But fuck yeah, let's get to one of this. We actually only have one question. And it was the only good one.
Okay.
So,
We got
but
a
it-
bunch, but yeah, this is one that was like.
Can we
actually
have a
good.
bad one?
No,
Okay, got it.
it's not worth the viewers' time.
Okay, got it.
They're so bad.
Okay.
Drag on talking about nothing. All right.
Okay.
Here we go. It's not letting me open it, Mitch.
Really?
Yeah.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah.
Can we read it? Can you read it?
Yeah, I could if I could open it, but
Really? You're double clicking it?
yeah,
Why does it say it can't be open?
I don't know. Maybe it's that update you did. Yeah, sorry, fellas.
It's okay. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, Kyle, help me out here because you heard it too. Oh man. It was something about like what was the most successful.
Oh yes. What was the most successful moment in your career that made you the most proud? Like
that might have been word from word, Kyle.
Yeah.
Fucking love this guy.
I mean, Ben, you can go first. It's never been a moment for me. It's just like I just like every now and then I'll just get some goosebumps thinking about where we started and where we've been. I consider myself when I first started to, maybe be a little bit on the clout chasing side to now being a little bit more humbled about some of the things that we're doing. And this is not exactly a cash cow business that we're in. Neither one of us are making hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this. So we do it for the love of what it is and the community. And like I said, when I think back of where we started, what we've learned and where we are now, that's to me a more memorable thing than any single moment, If I had to pinpoint it down to one moment, it would be at one of our shows for sure. Just seeing people, the way they react to the newer events that we've been doing that are different, and the reactions I get from it, like, oh, we needed this. This needed to be done in both New Orleans and Denver. I think that's kind of where my headspace is at.
Yeah, and for me, I don't think it's like this one moment, but I think the coolest moments that I've ever experienced is like I'll be in some random social scenario and some random person will be like, tell me how something happened for them because of something we used to do. Like I had it happen the other day where someone was telling, they were like, oh my God, I used to look at your old freshly picked beats every weekend, and that's how I always found my music for years. You know, you never get that experience. So I'd like to hear it come from the mouth of some stranger that you've never met in a state way away from where you ever started is a really unique experience.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I got two I wanted to share.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So last year I was on my tour Blue Collar Bass, and I had a night off, and it just so happened that night off fell whenever Grizz was doing his show at First Bank. And he had me and my girl out. We had a great time, got to hang out with him and everything. And it was my first time hearing it live because he's my favorite artist.
Yeah.
Grizz is my favorite artist. And he played our collab out and like
Amazing.
shouted me out.
Yeah.
Dude, I fucking balled.
Yeah.
I'm like, my friends were trying to talk to me. I was like, I'm chill, bro. Like, I'm trying to be all tough and shit.
Yeah, man, that's a moment.
It fucking like it like.
Can you imagine it's the first time somebody did that for Grizz? You know, it's like reciprocal, and like that's a great moment. You know, like,
it wasn't even like me like playing or doing anything other than just watching my favorite artist play our song and then saying shout out TVBOO.
Yeah,
I was just like, no.
right? Like that's happening right now. It's great.
And I guess the second thing, one thing that like I'm super proud of, I don't know if it has like a success thing, is like literally doing this podcast, man.
Yeah.
God, I've learned so much and grown so much as a person just from talking to people every single week. These long form conversations that have no fucking, I don't prepare questions at all. And it's fucking, I've met amazing people, become a better man for it. And I love it.
It's probably helped your career, I would imagine, right? Just the relationships you've built with people that just ended up on the podcast had nothing to do with the collaboration you were doing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting in front of people from so many camps. I can imagine
it's definitely has helped my career, but like it started from just a place of like curiosity and just wanting to do it. And it's still that, you know, I
always thought you were just trying to get a sponsorship from Paps.
Well, there was that angle.
Yeah, of course.
No, it just came from like a place of curiosity and just wanting to like talk to interesting people about what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like you're doing cool shit. Like let's talk about it. Like you guys are kind of changing the game as far as video streaming content goes for dance music that's in the band world that's not here in our scene yet. And I think that's really fucking cool. And we've gotten to talk about it today. I could be one of the first people talking to y'all about this before it blows the fuck up. You never know. And that shit's really cool to me.
I think one of the angles we're going for with this whole platform and the streaming thing is we're trying to change how creators can monetize, right? Because right now, what's your streaming monetization? It's some algorithm from some massive streaming company. You have no idea what you're really going to get at the end of it or how it even got to be that number. I mean, Snoop was talking about it on a podcast like 2 months ago where he was just bitching up a storm. He's like, I'm supposed to make this much per 10 million streams. How is it that I get 100 million streams, but I'm only getting this much? And it's because the royalties are split into there's like 3 different ways or types of royalties, and then those go by percentage. It's just there's an algorithm there that it's really hard to follow. It seems to be the only way you can get your money. But with a platform like ours, we can pay you a flat rate, like a booking fee, just to be on there. We can monetize by doing rev shares with you. We can do on demand. We can do pay-per-view live. Like there's a million different ways that we can blend this together to make it make sense for the creators and give them more power in choosing how they monetize their content.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, I think he's right. You know, like it's in the band world. Like Dead & Company just streamed their entire tour to a paywall. Like every single stop, they just did that.
I know Papadozio has like a Patreon. Yeah, at least they used to. I don't know about it anymore.
Yeah, like
Papadozio had a Patreon where they recorded, and it's not like crazy cameras. It's just like a microphone.
Yeah,
and it's just like we'll record our live sets.
Totally.
Yeah,
and I mean, you know, PL didn't put a paywall on it, and you know, whatever, that's great for their team to make that decision, but like we think that's a good thing when he streams, because it's like, you know, someone of that size doing that sort of stream kind of maybe inspires other camps to be like, we should do the same exact thing. And maybe other camps aren't selling out their venues in maybe 10 minutes across the whole country. So maybe we can come in there and help provide some financial support via, some live stream pay-per-views and stuff like that. So
Fuck yeah.
yeah. So your next tour, if you sell something out.
Actually, I had something I wanted to talk to you guys about after camera. I'm super, I learned about this talking to you guys, and it sounds super fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I have an idea of something I want to do with you boys.
Cool.
I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
and one day, you can let your podcast live on our app.
Oh,
hell no. I'll own this forever.
That's funny.
Oh, no, you wouldn't not own the money coming from it.
Oh, okay. Well,
Just
there's
be
no
another way
there's
to
no
get-
money in it. I'll let you know.
Well, there could be.
Could be.
True.
But yeah. Right on.
Okay, cool.
No, this has been fucking awesome,
Yeah.
boys. Thank y'all for being
Yeah,
here
thanks
today.
for having us on, man.
Anything y'all want to let the people know before you get out of here?
No, come to our parties, download the app and subscribe. You can, use the code RBTV3 to get 3 months for free. And it's the first time I've ever plugged myself that hard. So
One more
What's the-
time.
what's-
What's the name?
RBTV3.
It's
Hell yeah.
capital R, capital B, lowercase t, lowercase v.
Well, they don't have
3.
to be cap sensitive. It's
Oh.
fine.
What? How much is y'all subscription every month?
It's $9.99, so we got it set right now, and it's just in beta. Like that could go down, that could go up. Like we could change it, but like we just want to give it to we want to give it for free as long as we can, so people can just kind of check it out.
Yeah.
And then,
Use that code. What's it good? 3 months free?
Yeah, 3 months free. Use it on the web, then go to your app store and download it. So
I'm gonna download it after this podcast, boys.
yeah, you should.
Yeah. To use the code, though, you got to go through the internet.
Yeah, you can.
So go to the web. You can go to riverbeatstv.com.
and then
and then,
punch the code in, and then from there you can download it on your phone. And,
Cool.
Yeah.
Sick. Anything else, Benny?
No, just keep coming to our shows. We got 3 more really good pool parties coming up. We have something really fun coming up with Big G.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we're doing a free party with Big G. You got to buy a ticket to Rowdy Town to go to the show, though.
That's tight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on
I
August 20th. We haven't
love
announced
those
location.
guys.
Yeah, they're great.
We just
guys.
finished a collab and it's gnarly.
Oh, sick! Hell yeah,
so good.
that's gonna be on the album.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh well, why don't you plug your album a little bit more? When is you have a date
No,
now?
I'm not yet.
Okay, got it.
I got a
Sounds
long
good.
time till that's happening, dude. I'm just
Yeah.
fucking on top of it.
All right, I
now.
like it. You plugged it. You plugged it. It's fine.
Plugged it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Riverbeats TV or riverbeats.life is our main website for all of
Yeah.
our media stuff. If you want to check out anything we're up to, anything we're covering, if you want to see if your stuff's been covered on there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Cool.
sick boys, man. I really appreciate y'all being here today. This has
Hell
been
yeah.
awesome.
Appreciate you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
And
man.
Yeah.
Kyle, I appreciate you, buddy.
I appreciate you, Mitch.
And I appreciate everybody listening to this week's episode of Talks with Taboo. I will see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.